Hi guys, this is David Windsor. Last week I was in Chicago and we talked to two sales guys who were actually really technically savvy and familiar with our product, but I think one thing that was new to them was our go-to-market from marketing side, and it really made us realize we kind of maybe don't communicate to you as well as we should about what's going on in our business and how we view it from the fourth floor and the forum out to where you are. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how DPQ products go to market. And I say DPQ, how do we think UPSs, racks, and PDUs all kind of go together and talk to network closet clients? And how do we get into the network closet and make a big big market pull there and get our customers engaged in our products? So I think it all starts with the network closet and realizing the structure of networking and communications have changed. And we all hear the terms the cloud, and we all know what a network closet is, but how do these things work together? And I think you guys probably already know a lot of this in your head, but it helps to put it all together and kind of make it a holistic solution. And so we all love the internet. We know and love it. We speak on the internet every day. We don't need to explain that. But we have data centers. This is probably what we consider, if we were using buzzwords, maybe the cloud. So we think of, hey, it's the cloud. My application, my thing I'm accessing is up here. We get Gmail. Almost everyone has Gmail. That's a good example, is the cloud. We access through the network our Gmail account that's hosted on some imaginary data center out there in the middle of nowhere. We don't know really where it is, but we know we can access it over the internet and get there. Likewise, we have the remote office back office, and in this remote office back office, we're thinking about something like Eaton. We might have a lot of satellite plants, we might have different offices, and these different places are going through the internet to the Eaton data center to access information. In that regards, maybe Joe would be an example of our cloud, something on the cloud for us. But even then, remote office back office has, you might hear the term on-premise. And if you read any IT articles today, you'll never stop seeing, what's going to the cloud, what's staying on site, and what you find out that not everyone's completely going to the cloud. Almost nobody is. Nobody's staying on premise completely. Customers are using a balancing act of what's on premise and what's in the cloud. So this is, not new. We know this. A remote office, back office, and a data center goes together, right? So if we're Eaton Corporation, we have Cleveland, Ohio as somebody here, and this is HQ, or our corporate data center, and then we have Raleigh, North Carolina, and we have Bloomington, and we have some people we talked to up here, and maybe neither Eaton place here. We have these different places that all need to access the network, and we all communicate back to one another, and we have this network. And so this network is all connected by the internet, and everything goes. So HQ goes to the internet, Raleigh, and everyone's communicating together. And this isn't new for you. You're very familiar with this. The great part is when you're going back and forth, the need for network closets is going to increase. So what you've seen is the bandwidth has to increase, and as a result, in the last couple of years, we have seen network closet the size of switches just increasing to gigabit networking speeds, where just the demand of bandwidth to access all this information across the globe and across the country is just rising every single day. But what does this mean? We talk about virtualization software, and why is this important? It's important that we kind of grasp this concept that if you're a salesperson and you're walking into your client, you might be brought in for a job in the remote office back office. Or if you're talking to somebody else, you might be brought into their data center. And you might be talking to one person about this and one person about that. And very rarely do we think these people are talking together. And sometimes it's hard as a salesperson to try to find a link to get the guys that are making these purchasing decisions to also help you get into these avenues. But really, we think they're linked. And that's the whole point of what we're going to talk about. And the best part about how they're linked is our software. When you look at our software, it's Intelligent Power Software Suite. It has Intelligent Power Manager at its core. And what we can do there is, we've talked about it ad nauseum, we have a ability to, if we have multiple VMs on site, I have these running at each individual location. They're running there, and there are probably virtual machines running in their data center. The question is, ask your IT manager which VMs can go down, and they're probably going to look at you and go, I don't know if any can go down. What do you think? And what do you mean go down? I don't want to do that. So we probably have, when we get down to it and we press them, we're probably going to have some VMs that are more important than others. And so these two might be critical, and maybe there's 4 of them, and 2 are not critical. And this is going to go into our overall strategy of how we're talking to our customers about our products, that it's not just about the data center, but it's also about the on-premise, because some of these VMs are not going to be able to be shut down as a business continuity. And right now, if they're not using our software, everything's going to shut down when the battery dies. However, if we're using our virtual machine moves and we're using vMotion initiating that through IPM, we can take these VMs and move them from here all the way through the network to our data center. So we can start moving VMs when the power goes out for a certain amount of time and prevent failure on site at that on-premise location. This is a great feature. And the next question you ask is, wow, VMs, that sounds great. How easy is that to do? Well, it's probably not that easy in terms of bandwidth, right? If we think about all the applications you run to move them real time to a data center, it's probably going to take a lot of bandwidth. We probably can't move everything we have. So we got to make decisions of what to move and what not to move. And the things that we don't move, we probably want to safely shut them down. And that's what we call load shedding. You guys have heard the VM load shedding we're coming out with. That really takes these VMs and kills them. That's great. So now we have, okay, VMs that can move, and we have ones that won't move, and we know how to kill them safely. So these things aren't started, or started and just lost. The best part about this is all initiated through IPM. They can manage it. And now you're talking about moving things out to the cloud and then moving them back. And now you're not talking about just a remote office, back office. You're not talking about only a data center, but you're moving these things back and forth. So it's important to, when you're talking about IPM, to realize that all this stuff incorporates itself all together, and it's not just about one or the other. It's a total comprehensive power management strategy.